Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you might be watching. Jeff Hudson here from United Computer Consultants. You know, on YouTube there are untold numbers of videos which will tell you how to use Excel for all sorts of things, from very basic Excel up to advanced. But very few of those, if any of those videos, tell you why things happen. In my videos concerning Excel, I like to show how to do things, but also why things happen. So the first thing I'm going to show you is in the File, Options category, and in the Advanced section, the Advanced category, you'll notice here, for example, that after pressing the Enter key, move the selection down. But what if you wanted it to go to the right or up or left? The default is down, but that can be changed. Also, as we'll see back here on the spreadsheet itself, on the worksheet itself, that we have months across here. So the data that I have is simply the sales results for various cities around the world. Some which we'll see, Hong Kong and Melbourne, do not quite fit into the column, so I'll show you how to fix that. I also see here that September, the R is missing from September. The R is a little bit chopped off in November, so we need to fix the width of things as well. But the reason that I was able to do this month auto-complete across was because Excel, in the advanced section at the bottom in the options, has an area called Edit Custom Lists, and this is a section of lists that have been pre-programmed by Microsoft when they wrote Excel, so that I could use the days of the week, the short days or the full days, the short months or the full months. There are some names that I've added as well. I'm going to delete those because I've now finished with those names. So what I did was to invoke the golden rule of all computing. I selected by clicking in this case, and then I deleted the list and confirmed the deletion. Now I'll click OK here and OK again. So I just wanted to show you why things move down when I press the Enter key. That cell moves down. I'll put it up again. But I'm going to get rid of these months by dragging through them to select, and when I select cells I drag through the very middle of the cells when I see the open cross. So I've selected those cells. I'm going to press the delete key to get rid of what's in there. Now when I click back on July and point my mouse at the bottom right hand corner of the cell, I see a little blob there. It's called the Autofill button, and when I point at it, the mouse changes to a crosshair. If I hold down my left mouse button now and drag across, I autofill the months, because the months are pre-programmed for one to follow the other in the lists that I showed you back in the options. Now I also see here, I'm going to click away to deselect. I also see here that I need to get, from a viewable point of view, Hong Kong in full and Melbourne in full, and the way I can do that is to point between the A and the B, the column headings, where I see my mouse changes to a double-headed arrow. When I double click, I'm given what is called best fit. That is the widest entry in the cell plus the a little bit of white space to the right. Now I just wanted to see these cities here with a little bit of space to the right, so what I'm going to do is to now drag back like that, and I can see things as I want to see them. I also see here that the R is missing here from September, so I can double click there, one way to do it, and also November to get best fit, and December as well, because that gives me the widest entry in the column in the cell plus a little bit of white space to the right. The numbers are no problem, but what I'm going to do now for formatting's sake is to use the button here called the merge and center button, and to use that I'm going to click in cell A1, hold down my left mouse button and select across to G1. That is across the width of the spreadsheet matrix. The matrix are all of the cells from the top left hand corner to the bottom right hand corner. And when I click the merge and center button, that is exactly what happens. So now I see that my heading is centered nicely across the entire spreadsheet. While I'm there, I'm going to bold that particular selection, so I click in A1 to make certain that the data is selected, because the information is actually in A1. It's just that I merged various cells. And I'm going to bold, and when I click on the bold button, there it bolds. While I'm here, I might even click on the drop arrow, and as I drag down through the numbers, I see that Excel gives me what is called a live preview. It shows me live preview because the live preview option was selected in the advanced section of the options. So I like it 16. So there we go. I also want to put a little bit of space between this row and the one below. So what I'm going to do is to point in the row headers, that is the numbers, and I'm going to look for the double-headed arrow. The double-headed arrow in Microsoft Windows means resize. So I'm just going to hold my mouse down and drag it down a little bit just to give me some more space above there, and I'll do the same with the row below, just to give me some more space above the actual months. Now with the months, I'm going to drag through those cells while I'm in the formatting mood, and I'm going to bold them. So remember, select then do, and when I select multiple cells, whatever I do to one cell will affect all the selected cells. So I'm going to bold that, and I might make them red at the same time. What I would like to do also here, by dragging through this particular set of data, I'm going to add a border at the same time. And when here in the border command in the font group, I'm going to click the drop arrow, and I would like to put all borders in there. So that means that when I print this worksheet, the grid lines won't print, but the borders will. Now, if I want to space all of this data out a little bit, what I can do is to right click on a column, and when I click the insert command with the left mouse button, it will move everything over. So there we go, it spaced things out from that column. Now I can see all of the borders down here correctly. Formulas. Formulas are those equations which show me the total of numbers, the looking up of information, and many other things. The most popular one that we use is called AutoSum. It's this button up here. It's the Greek letter sigma, which means add for me the cells that I need added. And I can do it in a couple of ways. I want to put the heading total here, so that I get a total for each month for the various numbers. So now I'm going to click in here because I want to add the AutoSum formula, and when I click there, Excel does this. It looks up the column and it says are there two or more cells that I can add? If there are, I can simply press enter, and I will see that the answer is shown to me, and when I click back on that cell, it is said equals the character that all formulas start with. Sum means add, and within the brackets, or parentheses as some people call them, it says do you want to add from C3 to C9. The colon means C3 to C9 inclusive. Now what I can do is to point at my autofill button and simply drag all of those formulas across, and if I click on this particular cell and look in the formula bar, Excel has taken care of the movement through the columns as I dragged, and it adjusts the formula automatically for me. This cell shows me the sum of E3 to E9, E3 down to E9, D3 to D9, F3 to F9, G3 to G9, and finally H3 to H9. Now I might also like to put a total button here, a total label here. Now when I click here and click the auto sum button, something happens. It looks to the left. The reason it does that is because there are not two or more cells above that it can add. So it looks to the left and it says, are there more than two cells that I can add to the left? The answer is yes. So I can press this time if I want. Remember, if I press the enter key, I'll be taken down a cell, but if I hold down the control key and press enter, I stay in the same cell. Now I can simply autofill that down, and there are my answers. And if I click in this cell and click the auto sum button, it looks up the column, control enter, and not only has it added those cells across, but it has added those cells down. Now the beauty about Excel is that I can use it for what if calculations once I have the formulas in the cells. So that cell contains a formula, these cells contain formulas, and so do these. And those across there match what is down there. Now in the calculations, if I say, look, the answer for August for Hong Kong was really 80,000, somebody reported incorrectly. So I'm going to change that cell to 80,000 and press enter or control enter, and watch the way that the numbers which are dependent upon that cell change. So there I see this cell has increased, that cell has increased, and the total has increased as well. If I made that entry by mistake, I can go up here into the quick access toolbar where I see the undo button, or I can hold down the control key and press Z, and that undoes the last action that I performed. So we're getting to the stage now where I want to know that these are dollars. So I'm going to drag through all of these cells, and I'm going to, having selected them, look here at in the number group, the dollar sign. But I see there's a little drop arrow next to the dollar sign, so I'll click the drop arrow, and I'm going to look for we'll say the English Australia. And what that does, it shows me an accounting format which puts the dollar sign hard to the left of the cells. So now what I'm going to do is to drag down through those particular cells, hold down my control key, and the way this works is that when I use the control key, I can select cells which are not together. The reason I've done that is that I want to bold those cells, and I also want to colour them with a different text colour. So I'm going to say blue, and if I fill them with a particular colour, I'll choose a light grey. Immediately my spreadsheet has become rather more professionally presented. I see there's no border around the total, so I'm going to click on the total, and I'll put a border around the total cell. And the same up here for the total. I could have held down the control key and done them both together. But now I see that that the spreadsheet is looking good. The only thing I now might like to do is to drag across through those cells, bold them, maybe make them a little bit bigger, and I can change the font size here, or I can click on the big A, increase font size, and that's exactly what I'll do, and it makes the totals stand out for me. So there are the reason that basic things happen in Excel, the reason why things happen, as I've shown you. So here I see there is a cell. I'm going to click into that cell to deselect it, and I might even like to fill these cells across there. Hold down the control key, click in that cell, and then I will put a fill colour, perhaps a slightly darker grey in there. That one there will be fine. Put a border around these, hold down the control key, click there, put all borders around there, and there I have quite a professional looking spreadsheet. So that's why things happen. You've seen how to do it, but hopefully you've seen why things happen as well. It's been a pleasure to show you this basic piece of Excel. Hope you've learned from it. We love likes and comments, of course, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, guys and gals, we would love to have you as a subscriber. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.